Sting, almost 30 years in the business. What do you want to do in a perfect scenario? Next year, next 2 years, what are kind of like your goals if everything goes and you can plot out the end of your career?
Well, I do believe that I have enough left in my tank for one more match, and I would love for that match to be against Taker. If that can't happen, Triple H, I think, I just would like to have one more match. I'd love to be able to say that I had one match under the WWE banner, and of course WrestleMania. Who wouldn't want to say that they did WrestleMania at least one time?
I mean, did you have this urge for years and years, and what kind of like kept it to this this late in your career?
I did have the urge to come up here, and spoke with Vince on and off over the years while I was with WCW, and contracts would end, and and I'd have some talks with Vince, and they were always positive, always upbeat, always really good. But I always ended up staying where I was, and the rest is history. It is what it is. Can't be changed now, but I'm glad to be here right now.
What's it been like for the reception? Because people have been waiting for it for so long, and just see the overwhelming reception so far for you and coming to WWE and the reaction that you've gotten.
I've been blown away at the reaction. I mean, from the corporate part of the company. I was up in WWE offices recently, and spoke with Vince and Triple H, and everyone up there. I mean, you got 450 employees up there or whatever. I met every department under the sun, and everybody's excited. So that affects me. When I see that they're excited, it makes me excited too, all the more. And then the WWE fans, they've been gracious. They've been really, really good, really pumped up. Comic-Con was a positive experience with them. Today was another great one. So I'm just glad to be here.
Was that the first time that you've ever met Vince McMahon in person?
We may have met real quick at a NAPTY convention years ago, but it wasn't like a real formal kind of a meeting. I was working, he was working, and I meandered on over to their booth. I was there representing WCW, obviously, and went over to their booth, and Coco Beware, and I can't remember who all was there, but yeah, we might have met in that moment, but I don't really remember. I've been dropped on my head a few times.
Now, when WCW closed in 2001, at that moment, did you think your career was over, or because you were gone for a while too? I mean, you did a match here and there, but I mean, did you come and what made you come back? Was it just the TNA offer, or did you just feel like, hey, I got more to go, more?
I really did kind of believe that it was done. Wrestling was finished in March of 2001. And then when I got a few phone calls from a few promoters, third party type promoters, and I did a little bit of traveling. I went to Germany, I went to England, I went to Australia, New Zealand, I went to Korea, and I was doing things like that. I'm kind of staying alive. And then TNA called and said, hey, let's do some serious talking. If you come back, we think the Spike Network will pick us up, and so I decided to come back.
And what's kind of like your thoughts on the whole TNA period? Do you overall have a good time, or mixed feelings?
You know what? Yeah, mixed feelings. I mean, it was good. It really was. I liked the brand. It reminded me of the old, early WCW, very humble WCW days. This small company, second rate, second class. And I thought, hey, we've done this before. So let's try it again. Just was not meant to be. I mean, the hope was that if I came in, others would follow, and we did have a lot of big name wrestlers come in over the years. But ended up growing, but just did not do what we had hoped.
It was a different era. It wasn't it wasn't like WCW.
Right. Exactly.
WCW had a bigger foundation to start with. I mean, that's what it really was.
Yes. Yeah, and a bigger station too. I mean, TBS, TNT.
When you look back at the WCW rise, I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole thing? I mean, because you came in from Mid-South, and pretty much everyone who came in from Mid-South was gone within a year or two, and you survived, and then all of a sudden, you were at the top of the heap. I mean, do you think it was right place, right time, or just connected at the right thing?
You're talking about WCW in the year?
I'm talking, let's say 87, 88, 89. That was when you pretty much rose to the top, 87, 88, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was, so what's the question on that? I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the time period, but what do you want to know about it?
As far as what are your kind of thoughts on as far as your ability to survive when you came from Mid-South?
Oh.
And most of the, I don't know, did you feel you had like a tag on your back, I'm from Mid-South? Because most of the guys came from Mid-South, except for you and I think you and Rick Steiner were the only ones who really survived.
Right, yeah, that's right. I mean, talk about second-class citizens. We definitely were. We were like the little peons that came in. But, you know, hard work. You just keep on plugging away. You just kind of keep your mouth shut. You just go do what you're asked to do, and you work hard, and you stay in the gym, and you keep plugging away, and you stay loyal. And you know, you're not milking your injuries and showing up late. I mean, you know, we were on time. We were responsible. We were working hard, and you know, after a while, that's going to pay off, and it just did.
You know, when you had the match with how long before the match with Flair did you know about that match? Because it ended up being, like very few guys made their career in one match, and you pretty much went from being, a guy who was on the road to being on the top to a top guy in one night.
Yeah, no, that was an amazing experience, and if I remember right, I mean, it was Ronnie Garvin and Flair, and the big storyline between the two of them, and then they blew it off at the big pay-per-view, whatever it was, and that was that. It was over, and now it was like, who's Rick going to work with? And they wanted to put him, I think, with Ricky Morton for like the 10th time or whatever, and Ricky got hurt. So Dusty was booking at the time, and he said, Stinger, we're going to put you in there, and let's try something out. And so we did a little storyline at Raleigh, North Carolina, and that's where it all started. Right?
Final question here. Obviously, people talk about you having one final match here in WWE. What other role do you see yourself in? Could you see yourself as like an ambassador for the company for years going forward, or how else do you see yourself being involved with the company?
Yeah, I'm open to that. Definitely, I'm open to whatever doors may or may not open. I mean, I love the business, and so yeah, I can see myself being an ambassador. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as far as your status right now, I mean, when you consider it, you're close to a deal. I mean, or is it just kind of like, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you close? Are you confident? Are you in the middle of talks?
Yeah. No, I think we're close. Okay. I think we're close.
So we'll see you at SummerSlam tomorrow.
Or we'll see you in Santa Clara, though.
You'll see me again.
Yeah. Okay.